am I whispering? I don't know. Hi. Hope y'all are having a good weekend. Are you? Better be. Hey. Hey, Mew, Timothy, Major. Welcome, all of you. For once, I start and everything seems to be just working. I think. So, I had trouble figuring out what I was going to do today until the very last minute. Welcome. Thank you for following. I-D-E. I-E-D? Welcome. Thank you so much. So, today, I had so much trouble figuring out what to do, and at the last minute, a little bit ago, I decided the thing to do... Wait, let me get rid of that annoying visualizer. I decided at the last minute, the thing to do is basically subway takes. Basically. So what I want to do is educate myself and be a part of the process of educating other people. So, for example, I've talked about this before, and I think this was on a subway take before, but here's an example of a take. I think couples should have separate bedrooms. And that's not just an example, I actually believe that. You know, I mean, not to judge a couple, whatever works for them, I'm sure. But, okay, but hear me out. Number one, I think that it's important to get your sleep, and sleeping in your own place is nice. You can sleep when you want, game when you want, do what you want when you want. And why should you sacrifice that just because you love someone? Come on. Just because, rent might necessitate it, sure. But the other reason, and maybe the better reason, listen, I think it would be really attractive to, like, be fully married and still, like, invite someone over. Like, you're not just getting busy because, oh, you just happen to be right there. No, you're going through the trouble. You want them to come over. And isn't that just, like, really sexy? Here we go. We're off to a good start. Oh, I can turn off that text now, huh? So, that's my reasoning. And I was wondering, you can have your own space and you can still sleep over in it. Exactly. And now you have two beds to sleep over in, right? Like, even if you just spend every single day in one of them, or share a bed one way or the other, and every night, wouldn't the process be like, the ritual of it be kind of hot? So that's, I think I can explain that. Can you hear the background noise? Okay, no. I feel like I'm able to explain that one sufficiently that it's no longer a hot take. I think I can die on that hill successfully. You like the red streak? I was hoping it would wave a little more. Thank you. This is kind of I've actually had goth phase. I don't know. I like this lick a lot. And, I've, sorry. I may have had hair like this at one point. Very briefly. And it was pretty cringe at the time, but it still got some nostalgia for me. Some noise going on back there. Sorry about that. Lord Drop. Very into the lore, but I was wondering if you have any of the subway takes like the one I mentioned. Is there any other thing? Like, I would love to hear some of your hot takes and see if you can convince me of any of them. Now, they don't have to actually be really hot takes in either sense of the word hot, but I mean, both are welcome. And I will try to think of a few others. I mean, we can do some more lore here. For example, in college, I had this one professor who, it was like a writing professor, and she was, you know, sometimes it's good to have a good professor, a good teacher, because they teach you the things you need to know. Other times, maybe it's good to have a bad professor. Oh, that sounds kind of suggestive when I say it like that, but what I mean is maybe it's good to have a professor who you can learn from in a different way. In particular, you can learn how not to be. And so I had this professor, and she was kind of a mess. In writing, it was a creative writing class, and we would do all kinds of assignments. Like, we did comics, we did short stories and poetry, and the poetry sections were actually really good, but the short stories very nearly convinced me that I'm a terrible writer. And I'm not, but they very nearly convinced me that I am, because I was not nearly as... Is loquacious the right word? I didn't have quite the range of verbiage that a lot of my classmates had. And I came away from that class feeling like I'm kind of a shit writer. And one day leaving that class, I was so kind of depressed almost, because I felt like I had done so much worse than everyone else. And at some point I had the realization that my writing's not actually bad. Theirs is just overly academic. And I realized that what is the point of writing if not to be read? And would I want to read what I've written, or what my classmates wrote? So that was kind of an important realization, but the realization came about in a funny way. I had this funny habit of, when there was this time at one point in college where I was really lonely, and so, like, sometimes when I'm alone in my room, I would like talk to myself a little bit. And after this class, I was so stressed out that I really wanted to like put it into words somehow. And so I like took out my phone and pretended I was on my phone. But I was talking to like an imaginary person. And while I was doing that, I had this epiphany about my writing. Isn't that, it sounds kind of maniacal, but maybe it is. But I feel like it led me to a good idea. Anyway, the hot take about this professor, whenever the class was being very quiet or wouldn't talk very much, the professor would say, okay, everyone get up. We're all going outside. So we all get up, we all go outside, and we hug trees. And she would like insist that we hug trees for like, close our eyes, just breathe with the tree for like 30 seconds. And my hot take is that that is some BS. All this for that. I'm still angry at that professor. She told us all to touch grass. She told us all to hug trees. And, you know, being outside is good. But what I've realized is that she was unable to, and she was not self-reflective. She was unable to recognize that the reason people were talking was because she was asking a dumb question. She could not recognize that she was the problem. And so no matter where she looked, the solution was something the students had to do, not something she had to do. And so she made us all go out, hug a tree, come back inside. And, I was just grateful that 5 minutes of that class had been spent on nothing because I kind of hated her. Anyway, the following semester, I had a professor who was fantastic. I had the best writing professor I've ever had. He was amazing. Never made us hug a tree. That's not why he was amazing, but he somehow gave everybody good feedback. And he restored my confidence in my ability as a writer. We read The Princess Kasamasima, a book that was written in 1899. And it was so thick and dense, but I found it formative for my own writing, and I felt like I was the only one in the class who accurately carried that over into a modern style. I was so happy about it. It made me feel like I could be a writer. I also read some stuff in front of 400 people that I had written. Oh gosh, this is another crazy story. So we had everybody read some of their writing in this fiction class, and I had written this not a comedy routine, but a funny story with lots of jokes. And so I'm getting ready to go up, and the guy before me goes up and he reads this whole sad story, very personal, about his wife's passing. And so then he's done, and they almost forget about me. So I had to decide. I spoke up and I said, no, you're forgetting me. You're forgetting my whole class. And I had to I told this I don't know if I want to share it. I told this really funny story afterward. I'm sorry, it's too personal. Oh, never mind. Okay, new hot take. Do not share sad things at public functions. I'm sorry. I feel like I have led you on there because I feel like I should share what I wrote, but it would actually be kind of dox myself, sorry. Hang on, I want to drink some water. Anyway, do y'all have any takes that you can bring on? Pineapple pizza is not the atrocity everyone makes it out to be. I completely agree, 100% agree. Pineapple pizza, listen, I do not like pineapple, but I love it on pizza. Anywhere else, I don't like pineapple. But on pizza, where it cooks out the acidity and the cheese helps with the acidity, and you have the sweet and salty, it's so good. I mean, the classic thing is Canadian bacon or ham and pineapple, and something salty. It's so tasty. Yeah, people don't know what the heck they're talking about. You're completely right. You're absolutely right. I agree. I kind of want to go out and get some now. Thank you for that. Absolutely. Are there any other food misconceptions? In California, there's this town called Gilroy, and the town is known for wine and garlic. So they have these garlic farms all over the town and all these garlic products. And one of the things they had was garlic ice cream. And I tried it once, passing through the place once, and it was okay. It tasted like garlic ice cream. I like garlic, I like ice cream. They didn't really go good together, but it's exactly a 5 out of 10 experience. So there are certainly some striking combinations that don't work together. Mm, sounds like a sin. Yeah, it's like the kind of thing you try once in your life and then never again, ever. Like, I don't need to try it again, but I'm glad I did once. Sometimes trying something has its own value. Maybe that's a hot take. I think, okay, this might be a hot take. Another take. I think you should try everything once when it comes to food. I mean, barring any, like, dietary restrictions, you should, even if you, like, look at something and you know it's gonna be bad, you should still try it. Like, I was in Hong Kong, and I tried chicken feet at a Szechuan place. Hey, Day, welcome. I think you should try things even you don't like. Like, I tried chicken feet, and it was, the place I had been to, they seasoned it so well, but it was still chicken feet. It was still gross cartilage. But now I can say I've tried it. There were all kinds of other things at that restaurant that I didn't try. I never tried the jellyfish or the, like, turtle. I wouldn't feel good about eating a turtle, so maybe there are some caveats. Is there any meat? No. There's, like, skin and, like, tendons and gross stuff. But they cooked it really well and seasoned it really well that it was tolerable. But it was still a worthwhile experience to try. Is it like toenails? No, it's not. It's not crunchy. It's just, like, gooey. Or, like, icky. I know I'm not really making a good case for it. But I do recommend it. Trying it, and then never again. There were also these other things, like we had this cooked beef that was, like, marinated and slow cooked for a long time. Or I don't know if it was marinated, but it was, like, cooked in broth for a long time or some kind of sauce. And it still had the bone in it, which made it very difficult to eat. But apparently it added this other flavor. And it did. It wasn't really a flavor I cared for much, but it was good. I mean, overall, that was still a good dish. You've got to imagine the famine they had to have been going through the... Exactly. I mean, you say that, but that probably is actually what happened. People needed the food. And they knew how to cook it. But, like, I don't know too much of the history of, like, Szechuan or pre-Qin China, but so I'm not really aware of famines. There must have been some in the time periods I do know about, but I don't know. All kinds of foods, like, make you wonder, though. I think the foods that I would be the most icked about are the Scandinavian parasite cheese. Do you know about this? I really don't want to tell you if it'll gross you out, because it is gross. But it's like, I don't know where in Scandinavia it's from, but it's this cheese that has maggots in it. And they will be inside of you if you don't chew them all fully. So that, I think, is, like, the grossest possible thing. Like, and apparently it tastes really bad too. It sounds so disgusting. Gosh, I'm sorry for even bringing it up. You'd try chicken feet before you'd bark off a tree. A lot of animals do eat bark. What about 1,000-year eggs? What do you mean 1,000-year eggs? Edible poop? Isn't there a coffee where, like, it's pre-digested by, like, echidnas or something? Isn't there, like, a coffee where echidnas eat the coffee, digest it, and then what comes out is what you eat? Or maybe not echidnas, but some creature. I don't know. It sounds so disgusting. It's just a horribly expired boiled egg. Hang on, I'm gonna look up the poop coffee. Civet, not whatever animal I said. It's chewed coffee that's digested by a civet. I don't. That's, my hot take only applies to things that are actually food. Okay. I don't mean eat anything. I'm not saying like you have to be the guy in Monty Python. You don't have to eat a church. You don't have to eat a cathedral. You don't have to eat a car. Okay. Even if it's like some cuisine somewhere. Okay, alright. You've convinced me my take is not 100% accurate all the time. I don't want to eat shit, literally. Or figuratively. I'm ready for another take. I'm ready for another take. Put that on a t-shirt. Not eating shit, literally or figuratively. Have you seen all the people with the... I don't know why I've started seeing this everywhere, but have you been seeing like people wearing the Lilo and Stitch t-shirts? From like, I think they're from Walmart. Because I've been seeing those everywhere. Like, someone will have a Stitch t-shirt that says like, I'm very tired, or something like that. What is it? Let me find it. Lilo, Stitch, Walmart shirt. This one here, this is a shirt I've been seeing everywhere. Okay, here, one sec, let me put it on the stream. I don't know if this is going to show on the stream. One moment. Is this a format the stream will understand? Yep, okay. This is the shirt I've been seeing everywhere. Like, I swear I've seen like 3 people wearing it today. I kind of like it. I kind of get it. I feel like this sort of fits like the modern day. This is like the modern day aesthetic. You'd rather not watch the live action remake. Yeah, I heard that was kind of shit. I heard they... Like, who was the main villain in that? It was like not someone who's the main villain in the show. Yeah, I heard it was not great, and I do not plan to watch it because I don't want to screw up my nostalgia for the original movie. Anyway, yeah, so disappointing. You just know that Lilo gets given up to the government at the end? That's criminal. Don't like that. I mean, they should not do... Why? Why would they do that? Why would they think that's the right direction for this? Also, I'm sorry if you hear some background noise. My neighbors are, like, having a party or something. I don't think it's coming through too much, but... Okay, is there, like, a hot take around remakes? Because I think remakes can be good, but they're too often a cash grab. Okay, here's one. Animated shows don't need live-action versions, especially ones made by Netflix. Like, The Last Airbender live-action. Like, I don't know why people even like them. Like, it's kind of awful. Maybe if there's one exception, it's One Piece, the One Piece live-action adaptation. But even then, the actors in that are, like, people keep saying it's so well acted. I've heard this from several people. I think the acting in that show is terrible. Like, it's like college film level terrible, except college films would do it better. like the acting in the One Piece live action is, it's not just cringe, it's just like the actors aren't even taking it seriously. Like, I just don't know where they found those guys. And the script, it's just, yeah. And The Last Airbender, I feel like people gave The Last Airbender TV show live action a pass just because of how bad the previous live action adaptation was. But oh my gosh, it was bad. It was really bad. And I wouldn't be against seeing the animation remade. Like, an update to the animation and, like, double the number of episodes so that you can have much longer detailed development for a lot of the characters. That could be great. But they're just shortening it, if anything, and just making it into I don't want to say, it's always going to be a cash grab, but it can be a good cash grab. Like, let us get our value out of the cash grab. You don't understand how to... I haven't seen that, but I've heard it's good. But I don't trust people. Like, could it actually have been good? I've heard it was... Here, I usually... Okay. How to train your... Oh. How to train your dragon. 76 on Rotten Tomatoes. I usually track with that. But I've heard that a lot of people like it. Why does that movie... Hang on. So, why does How to Train Your Dragon have such a strong fandom? Like, why do people love it so much? Like, it's a good movie, sure. But people are kind of... I don't understand why it's quite as big. You're glad they make Sonic, even though it's live action. I haven't seen any of the Sonic movies. I saw like a couple of the cartoons when I was a kid, but I have not seen any of the films. Maybe I could watch that on Discord. We could do like a watch party. Just because I feel like it's a cultural thing that I'm maybe missing. I don't know. You want more and better video game movies. Do you think they could have made a good Minecraft movie? What would it have taken to make a good one? I mean, obviously no Jack Black. I think... They just need to... If they, like, made it about someone who plays Minecraft, maybe. And not, like, an isekai. Not, Minecraft isekai, that hurts to say. That hurts to say aloud. But, I don't know, maybe that would... Masterpiece? Sure. I haven't actually seen it, but... I think they needed crazier outfits. That was the problem. Zendaya. Okay. Alright, I see. That's what people... Okay, I get it. I understand. They should have done all the characters as kids. I guess so. Actually, now that you say that, just like making... If it were like a TV show and a movie instead of a movie, and it was just like people playing... Oh wait, you know what? No one's gonna remember this. This is such a deep cut. Does anyone remember Sterile Studios? I'm sure the answer is no. But early on in Minecraft, in like beta, they were these two dudes who made like... They did this whole YouTube series where it was like they were playing Minecraft and they were like, it was all acted out and scripted. It was like Yogscast, before the Yogscast did this kind of thing. It was all scripted, acted out, and they had like these fantasy worlds. So like it was as if it was, what is it called? Like a machinima? I forget, but like they used the video game to create like this whole TV show. It was so cool. I don't know. I loved it as a kid. Like their first episode, their teaser, they like break bedrock and find like this creature, the daylight owl, underneath the bedrock. And then later they start a new world and try to do it again, and they can't find it. But then they find strange things that start happening to their world, and these characters start appearing, and there's this whole fantasy series that goes on with it. It would have been great. Like if someone could make their series was called The Daylight Owl. If someone could make The Daylight Owl as a movie, it would be so good. It would be so good. I don't know. There's so many disappointments in Hollywood. Like the Star Wars movies were kind of shit. Like, remember when hating on the prequels was cool? But those were kind of masterpieces compared to what we have now. I mean, it's the seventh movie was okay. Everything after was shit. Pardon my French. They always get the millionaires working. Yeah. They just need to get that, like, the guy who made Godzilla -1 to make more movies. Because that was so good. Like, give that guy control of Star Wars. He would be so good. He would tell such good stories. Grounded with better characters that you actually care about. I mean, the original 6 movies of Star Wars are pretty good as like a kind of high fantasy more than a sci-fi. Like you've got your wizards and you've got this lifetime spanning story. So whenever they try to zoom in closer to that than that and have all this individual character development, they struggle because that's never what Star Wars was about. Usually. I mean, with the Chosen One in the original trilogy, there was some of that. I mean, Luke, not Anakin. Anyway. We just need the guy who developed Godzilla -1 to take over Hollywood and put him in charge of all movies. Too many characters are getting cast based off actor popularity. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but recognizable actors bring people into the theater. It's too bad. I mean, some of them are just so good that you don't care. But rarely. Nowadays, like with Marvel, when the characters are written just to be interchangeable and quip every 5 seconds, it's you know, you need to have original actors who can fit the role well. And I don't think the actor popularity should matter. But some actors are just genuinely so good at what they do well. Like, okay, like Jason Bateman in the Ozark was so good. So good. Or, you know, I saw Jason Bateman in a theater play as well. I think it was Jason Bateman. Maybe I might be thinking of someone else. Or who else? Also, wasn't Idris Elba supposed to be James Bond by now? Wasn't that gonna happen? Maybe I'm imagining that. Anyway, who else was like Liam Neeson? Liam Neeson's great. Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves is so recognizable that he will break your immersion, whatever he's in. But for like the few roles he's good at, he's so good that you just don't care. You can get into it anyway. So there are some characters like that, some actors like that. I'm not familiar with the Fantastic Four series, unfortunately. Let me just, I'm sure, hang on one sec. Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. Sorry, I had to. Yep, I agree. Excuse me. So, how do I get Hollywood to hire me? I'll become an actor. I'll be like John Solo. I'll be Han Solo's great nephew. I'll be like also a rogue who only cares about money. And I will have a fuzzy friend, but instead of being big, he will be comically small. For a little bit, I was into like, before Disney took it over, I was into some of the Star Wars books, because there were all these books that like were canon and extended the universe in different ways and told new stories. And then when Marvel bought it, they were like, actually, none of those are true. Which sucks, because they were all better than what Marvel ended up making, what Disney ended up making. Like, there was this whole story about like the Solo's child being struggling with the light and dark, and I don't know, it was just a really good story. There were a bunch of really good stories in there, and like Luke training a new generation. You don't like the multiverse stuff? It erases stakes. Yeah, you know, I kind of agree. I feel like for Marvel, it kind of makes sense in some ways just to be necessary to bring certain characters together. But yeah, it is. I don't know. You know, the thing with the comics is there was never any realism. The characters always died and could be replaced. Like, it's not something that Marvel has invented recently. It's something that they've always done. Like, they would always have, like, the Flash inventing new universes by time traveling, and then people traveling between those universes. And that's just always been a comics thing. Hey, Ultralisk, don't apologize. Welcome. I mean, you can apologize if you actually are, but I don't feel like you need to be sorry. But welcome. So I don't really blame current Marvel for that, but and you know, even like Stan Lee, like I remember there was this interview with Stan Lee where people were asking like, is Hero X stronger than Hero Y? And he was like, it doesn't matter. It's whatever is needed for the story. So he quite directly said like, there is no power scaling. It's just it's whatever is needed for the story to make sense. The Flash can beat Superman, Super can beat the Flash, Batman can beat them both. That's always been a thing. It's about the ideas clashing, and the superheroes just represent ideas. You like to imagine Disney couldn't be bothered to curate whether or not all the extended lore fit in their family-friendly brand. Yeah, I remember there was this one book, Ultralisk. We're just rambling, I guess, but whenever a new hot take comes up, we go into it. But yeah, I feel like Disney, like, imagine Star Wars Episode 3 was made today. Would they have implied that Anakin killed children? Even in the original movie, that felt really sudden. But it's too bad. Actually, I think the extended universe in Star Wars, one of Luke's younglings also killed a bunch of his other younglings. That was a big part of him turning into the dark side. Yeah, I mean, it was something the Emperor would have wanted him to do. Prove his loyalty. Do something that he can't take back. You ever see that YouTube short or that YouTube clip of someone like animated it and it's like Anakin goes back to the Emperor and the Emperor is like completely blown away and like horrified that Anakin killed children. He's like, "You what?" Anyway. Anyway, Ultralisk, if you have any hot takes or any ideas for popular or unpopular ideas that you have or would like me to consider, please feel free to drop them. I feel like Anakin's turn to the dark side, like the temptation of the dark side, is never fully explored in Star Wars. Like, what exactly is it? Like, why does the dark side exist? Why is it uncontrollable? Why does having like a mental disorder make you powerful? Even if only in bursts. Okay, that's probably a weird way to say it. But why does being, maybe like a personality disorder, but why does being like hateful make you stronger? I don't know. I mean, it's all part of it. It's all part of the fantasy. But I feel like, I'm not saying that it's stupid, I'm just saying that it could have been developed more. Explained. Like, Anakin's turn to the dark side. I don't know, to me it felt a little sudden. I mean, maybe not sudden. I don't think the pacing was bad. But I feel like having him show remorse and struggle with his emotions as he's like storming the Jedi Temple, but be forced into committing these acts that he can't turn away from. I feel like there are like just a couple minutes of changes that could have been made to that movie to make his turn so much more believable. Like, I can imagine him encountering a Jedi and the Jedi senses some darkness in him. He might want to turn back after killing Mace Windu, but maybe the other Jedi just attacks him, realizing what happened, and he suddenly has killed another person. And maybe the shock of these compounding added evil actions could have been like made him feel hopeless, like there's no way to turn back. So the only way forward is moving forward. I don't know. That I feel like his turn to the dark side was not bad, but parts of it could have been executed in ways that make it so much more believable and tragic. I don't know. Anyway, I'm ready for another take. Let me just drink some water. One sec. I might turn on my fan. Let me see if you would hear this. Yeah, it bleeds through while I'm talking. Okay. Okay, I have another take. And I don't know how hot this is because it's related to something that I don't do very often. But I think burgers without onions are bad. It's kind of simple. Like, you don't know why Yoda thought it was a good idea for a hormonal teenager to be placed on Naboo with Padme. Yeah, I mean, good question. Nobody questioned that. That is kind of a minor plot hole. Anyway, fast food bad is not really a take, but a hot take. But so I've only been to like a McDonald's 2 or 3 times in my life. And okay, like the first time, okay, no, this was a Carl's Jr., not a McDonald's. I went to a Carl's Jr. and I was so shocked that they didn't give me lettuce, tomato, pickles, mustard on my burger, because I thought that was just normal. That comes on a burger. I didn't get it. And I was distraught. I was inconsolable to learn that I was wrong. So, I don't know if this is a hot take, but how hard is it to eat a little lettuce? It was a patty, buns, and cheese. And then we asked for lettuce and tomato on the side, and they charged us more for it. That was culture shock. But, like, I like fast food. I like burgers and stuff, but it has to be good. There's this place I go to that it's so cheap. It's like a few bucks for a small burger. They're actually really small, so sometimes you have to get 2, so I don't know if it's still cheap. But they'll put everything on your burger, and not only that, but they'll use really good beef, and they'll cook it with like garlic confit, and it's so delicious. And it's cheap. It's cheaper than a lot of these fast food places. Anyway, there's no reason that they can't do it. McDonald's uses like a quarter of all the America's potatoes. They can throw in a little lettuce and tomatoes and stuff. Wait, does McDonald's do it? Do they do it? Because they probably do. I don't know. Maybe I should go to McDonald's. Maybe I'm missing out part of the all-American experience. Because, like, I haven't been to one in absolutely forever. And I've always kind of hated it. But maybe I should try it. The part I've never liked about McDonald's is just the amount of sauce that they've put on their burgers. But maybe it's different now. Or I can just request it differently. I don't know. I don't really want to, but I kind of feel like I owe it to my country to try it. It's not a hot take, but you don't get anything more than lettuce on a burger. That's fine. I like tomatoes because they add like the glutamates. They add this like warm umami flavor. And I like onions because I feel like they contrast the burger. Mustard, same way. Mustard and meat, or onions and meat, good together. But I understand that a lot of people don't like the texture of tomatoes, and I don't fault them for that, because if you can really get the texture by itself, I can see how it can be gross. I get it. I do have a hot dog. A hot dog? I have a hot take about hot dogs, and that is ketchup does not belong on a hot dog. I don't think ketchup does. I mean, it's okay, but you really should just be having mustard and sauerkraut. That's my opinion. Even yellow mustard is okay. Yellow mustard is fine. Oh, you hear the siren? The mic seems to be filtering it out decently. Bratwurst. Yes! I don't know if that's a hot take, but hot dogs, a lot of them are just not good. Some of them are okay. And if they're cheap enough, you don't care. And if you can eat a lot of them, you don't care. You only really get lettuce because your friend group told you it's dumb to not put anything on a burger. I like the texture. I like having like food that's not just soft. I want a little crunch to my food. No one likes soft food. Maybe they do, I don't know. Bratwurst, they're just sausages. Cookouts? Last cookout I went to, we had sausages. We had this delicious barbecued chicken that had been marinated for like 48 hours. I have some family members who are just really good cooks. And some who are not. So I had this person who made this really good barbecue chicken. It was so tasty. And then this other cousin made some like really fucking burned sausages. Why am I so sweary lately? Why am I so cussy? Huh? What happened? What happened to me? You're a bad influence? I don't think you've been swearing. I must resist the dark side. I must resist the mu side. Resist temptation. My current place has a deck with a grill. I should learn to use it. Because I love grilling. I love... It just takes something that's simple like a burger and makes it so much better. Even a gas grill. Gas grills are probably healthier. You don't want to... eating smoke is not healthy as good as it tastes. I'm looking up in chat to make sure I didn't miss anything. But hot dogs are alright. If they're cheap enough and acceptable enough, and if they are served with sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is like one of the most underrated foods because it doesn't look very good, but it tastes so good. It's like pickles, but without the cucumbers. We're here for a good time, not a long time. That's fair. You can add that to your teenager Tumblr profile. Sorry. That is fair though. I mean, I'd prefer both. I feel like there's some overlap. I do have a friend who ate a hot dog every day in 2024. Every single day, at least one hot dog. So, I think... I wonder how much that's taken off his life. Probably not that bad. A hot dog isn't that big. But maybe it's like increased cancer. I don't know. Imagine if that was a bratwurst. Yeah, that year would have been so much better. You're totally right. You're totally right. I love going to like a German restaurant. It's such a college boy thing to do. It is. I love going to a restaurant where they just have nice sausages and mustard. It's so good. It's so simple. It's so good. The there were a few places back in California that I liked going to that none of which the innuendo of sausage was lost on. That's kind of a weird way to say it, but they all knew what they were doing is all I'm saying. And it was delicious. The sausages. Anyway. It wouldn't have been the same if they were hot dogs, you know? Much as, like, Seth Rogen would have his belief. Okay, this is maybe actually a bad take. Putting milk before cereal is okay. Sometimes, if you're about to run out of milk, it enables you to pour the right amount of cereal to however much milk you have without knowing how much milk you have. So there are acceptable moments to do it. Now, I don't know if you've seen the movie Get Out, Jordan Peele. There was a truly psychopathic moment in there where one of the villains ate a Fruit Loop and then drank milk through a straw separately. And that's truly evil. And it's such a meme too. Like, I love how Jordan Peele can take like something that's just a silly meme and make it genuinely terrifying. Like, use it something hilarious to show how psychopathic somebody is. I mean, there are some things he's done in movies that I didn't really like. Like, what's the one? Nope. With the alien. There's this scene in there with a shoe that's like standing up on its end after something chaotic happens. And I never figured out what the meaning of that was, and I watched an interview with him, and he didn't seem to know what the meaning of that was either. So, you know, can't be perfect, but it's still a great movie. I've almost gone through a whole bottle of, I'm like 2 bottles of water in the past 2 hours. Dehydrated. And it's hot. Okay, what's another take I can go into? It's so easy to go into the food takes because they're just so obvious. Like, okay, like the spaghetti to sauce ratio. My opinion, you should have enough sauce that every single noodle is saucy. By the way, you notice how I say like sauce? I used to say sauce, but now I like sauce. And that's because my the same roommate who ate a hot dog every day had like, he was from Jersey, and parts of his accent rubbed off a little bit. Sauce. He was from like, I'm not going to go into detail too much. But like South Jersey. Anyway. But I like to do it like an Italian restaurant style. I want to have like lots of sauce. Actors only method act to... Actors method act to be a horrible person. I don't know. I mean, probably yes, but... I know, like, I remember reading about Gollum from, like, Lord of the Rings. And, I understand that guy was doing some method acting. So I feel like maybe for certain characters it's necessary, but I don't think you're wrong either for most cases. Mhm. I think that's true. It reminds me of like the Simpsons bit where um some famous actor works in like the Quickie Mart, works in this like convenience store to get into character of a convenience store worker, even though it's just like his scene is just to like get shot or something like that. Instead, he spends like a month working in a convenience store, practicing like getting shot and getting robbed. There's no reason for Jared Leto to do all that. Jared Leto. I'm not actually familiar with this. Let me just see a picture of him and then I'll know. Picture of him as Joker. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. He looks like someone who would do that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's only for me the only Joker is Heath Ledger, and Joaquin Phoenix does okay. But yeah, these other actors were perfectly fine to work with. Didn't Heath Ledger do some method acting too, though? Yeah, he did. And I feel like that actually paid off. So I don't know if I agree with your take. I agree with you about Jared Leto. But I think Heath Ledger's method acting was probably pretty impressive. Because, like, he was so good. And he was so well written. I mean, some of it's become kind of a meme. Like, you want to know how I got these scars? I forget what his voice is like, but I loved that bit. It became a meme because it was good. So I don't know about if I agree with you, but at least completely, not in all cases. But do people ever like method act good people? Or only like psychopaths? I don't know. Hang on a sec. I'm just gonna be right back for a moment. I need to like get some more water and cool down. I'll just be a moment, okay? I'll be right back. Hang on, let me edit my text. Be right back. Thank you for winning. I'm just gonna have a quick snack. I'm still here. Do you mind if I eat with you? I'm back. I'm here. Hang on, can I like reduce the latency to chew more correctly? Like, I'm gonna try to bring the smoothing down to 0. So that is just eye rotation. This should be smoothing generally. Okay, so now I have smoothing entirely turned off on my model. So I'm going to be a little bit jittery. A little bit buggy, but I should have basically 0 latency between my tracking and what's displayed. Is that good? Hello. I kind of like it, but it does cause my head to bobble a little bit. Maybe, what if I run head rotation through a different filter? I'm just doing a little coding, don't mind me. That's just bone rotation, not blend shape, so what if I remove this and plug that in? So now my head jittering should be minimal or somewhat reduced, smoothed, but my facial expression should be very responsive. A little bit jittery, but different. Don't mind me doing a little programming on stream. That's pretty good. That's like a 1/10 of a second delay between my movement and the face tracking. I used to be into computer science. I'm still into programming a little bit, but I don't want to do it professionally because, well, honestly, if I had the chance, I'd take it, but for the money. But when I have a fun project I want to work on, then I like learning everything I need to do and know to do it. And that's just what programming is. It's puzzle solving. It's a lot of fun, honestly, but I don't know. So, also unrelated to anything, but I've been wondering. Let me just turn. Oh, not that. I've been wondering. Oh, I'll leave that on. No, I'll turn it off. I've been wondering what I should do for my 300 subscriber special. And my current favorite idea is doing a remake of my first video. Granted, I'll do like a Discord party too, but it's hard to come up with ideas for milestones. It's really difficult. Nothing's quite appropriate. For 100 subscribers, what I did is I offered to do individual video commissions for free for anyone who asked. I didn't end up doing too many, and I took like 2 months to get them all done. But never again. Never again. At most, maybe 3 people. And that wouldn't be fair to reward 3 people for the efforts of 100. think not. Am I entertaining you? Watching me eat? Is this what you're here for? By the way, I'm working on an update to this model, and it's gonna like do a few little things, like my eyebrows are gonna rest just a little bit higher. Like here. Like here they rest here. They'll be more like here. Which is sort of like a classic anime style, I think. And I'm gonna be a little bit fitter in terms of body shape. There's only so much I can do with my software, but you know, make little marginal improvements here and there. What else was I gonna do? I want to fix some issues, like there's some clipping, like when my mouth goes like this. You can see it's a little clipping at where the dimples of my mouth would be. They almost look like dimples. And when I open my mouth all the way, there's some clipping at the bottom too. So I want to fix those issues. Although I'm not really sure how to do that in a way that'll last. Here's a hot take. A city is not worth living in if there is no Trader Joe's in it. A place is not habitable unless there's a Trader Joe's within 10 miles. 15 maybe. I have other hot takes, like every city in the country should have trains. Town. Good correction, good save. Every city or even town in the country should have at least a streetcar or some kind of thing on rails, because rails are cool. That's the main reason. And because buses are like kind of ugly. Who's gonna reduce their carbon footprint unless they can ride something cool? If not, like, get some weird... Get your little town some, like, weird little train, like... I don't know, like one of those upside down hanging trains like in Japan and Germany. You know, every town should have some kind of symbol of the town. Some kind of icon and landmark that makes it distinct. And even if it's gimmicky or campy, I don't care. A bear? Bears are cool, but there should be like a plaza in the center of the town with like a gigantic bear statue or something. Or like a giant kids' play structure that looks like a bear that they can climb up. Or like a Statue of Liberty, but it's a bear. You know, symbols matter. That's why we need trains. That's why a town needs a bear. Or maybe you could have like a bear zoo. Like a zoo in a plaza with like a free zoo that's only bears. You know, if you can't afford to have a full big zoo, that's okay, but have some kind of animals to go look at. You could have a small place. Have like just a few animals, that's okay. You know, zoos do not buy animals from each other. Zoos can gift animals to each other for free, or they can trade animals. So they can trade, like, here you can have 20 penguins, give me a polar bear. And the reason zoos do that is so that they don't fund the market for poaching. I'm pretty sure this is true. Let me double check. Yeah, they trade animals. They barter and donate. You don't even have McDonald's? Well, that's probably okay, actually. I feel like having a McDonald's makes your town less important, not more. But you should have, like, a fake McDonald's. Have, like, some kind of store that sells burgers for as cheap as McDonald's and is, like, retro. And somewhere, like, teenagers can work. But it doesn't have to be a McDonald's. It could be, like, Bear Burger. And you can have, like, bear-themed drinks there. And bear-themed coffee cups. That's what I think. Get, like, be a drive-in or a drive-through. Or if you have, like, a parking lot for it, then you can do, like, a drive-in theater in the parking lot. Like, something like that. Just something interesting. Oh. I should be an idea guy. Kidding. No coffee place? Yeah, I mean, you could do like what McDonald's does and be like a McCafe. You can be like a burger and coffee place. Novelty restaurants, you're so right. We need more weird things. And I don't mean like animal cafes. Like, we don't need a mini pig cat. We don't need like a cafe with mini pigs that they abuse. We need a pig themed cafe where the building is like inside of a giant statue of a pig. And then they have pig races. So they like race the pigs around the building every spring, every June. And you can, if your pig wins, you get a coupon for bacon. That's what I think. And the pigs can like tour around and race at other places promoting the restaurant. But treat them well. Don't like make them interact with people. One other kind of novelty restaurants would be awesome. You know what? We could replace like the traveling circus with like a traveling food hall. So like have like a bunch of food trucks all with different kinds of food, and they go from town to town and fill up a parking lot, set up a food hall for like a week, and then they move on to the next town. Because they probably wouldn't be popular enough to last year-round, but if it becomes an occasion where people can come and they have to come like every day so that they can try all the restaurants, I think that would be popular. And it'd be like a fun occasion for people who live in smaller places. I guess that's just like a traveling amusement park. Kind of. But like, have traveling amusement parks. You've seen TikTok places where it's an old medieval theme? I know what you're talking about. I've seen that. I haven't been to one, but I know where there is one, and I'm going to go at some point. It's just called Medieval Times, right? A Medieval Times restaurant. Yeah, it's a chain. They have them all over the US and Canada. A restaurant called Medieval Times. I'm gonna find one and I'm gonna go to it. But yeah, they have jousting. I wanna go to a restaurant, I wanna eat food, and I wanna watch people suffer. Like, the Romans had something right. Kidding. Just like our ancestors. Yeah, why can't we, like, our sports stadiums, why can't we build them more like the Colosseum? You know? Why can't we have this giant stone monument? I mean, it would be heavy to bring all the stuff, that's why, but, like, wouldn't it be so cool to build a stadium in your city and know that it's gonna last 2,000 years? Wouldn't that be so cool? Knowing that in 20 generations, 30 generations, people are gonna be here. Like, what do we build now that's gonna last that long? Plastic. I don't care if it's expensive, like, you'll never, think about it, you'll never need to build a new stadium. Ever. You're hedging against, like, is it cheaper to build this one stadium? Or build a stadium in 1,000 years? Think about what inflation is gonna be like in 1,000 years. $1 is gonna be worth, like, not even the gum on the bottom of your shoe that you stepped on. It should be called sweetened bubbling elixir. It should. That would be delicious. I want some elixir. I want to eat a mine. You know what? That's how we can revitalize Minecraft. We can have the Minecraft restaurant, and they serve like pixelated food. They should open a Minecraft restaurant, and it's just, I don't know how they would cook it, but like it's just a pixelated plate, and then you have chicken on it. I think that would be delicious. You know the guy binging with Babish? I don't understand why he hasn't opened a restaurant full of only food from TV shows. I mean, some of those dishes wouldn't work, obviously, but that would be so good. Just like an as seen on TV restaurant. Gosh, how many of these are gonna eat? I'm just gonna keep eating these. I'm eating peanut butter pretzels. Anyway, if you don't know, Binging with Babish is this YouTube chef who replicates food from TV shows. Like from The Simpsons or Gumball or wherever. He'll just recreate anything. know why, but he seems like someone I wouldn't want to know in person. But the food looks amazing. Most chefs, why is it that like most entertainment chefs seem like people you wouldn't want to know in person? They seem to have like issues. There's like Kenji Lopez. He's good. I would like to know him. He seems like a nice guy. But like think of like Emeril or like Gordon Ramsay, Guy Fieri. I wouldn't want to know any of them. Feast of Fiction. Oh, that sounds vaguely familiar. Let me look that up. Feast of Fiction. That does look really good. I remember seeing this Netflix show where they would bring amateur chefs to recreate popular snacks, competing over like a $10,000 prize. It was so low budget, and none of the chefs were able to recreate any of the snacks very well. And the prize was tiny for a game show like that. I watched 2 episodes and then gave up. But yeah, where's the whimsy? You know, you go outside, it's just roads and cars, and there's nothing to go to. You have to like, where are you gonna go on? Where are your adventures? Where are your quests? Where's the kingdom? You know? You go outside, there's no kingdom. There's no tavern. There's the bar, there's no tavern. There's no magic. What's up with that? Oh. There's just assholes on motorcycles. Like, I want to go outside and be in, like, a marketplace with, like, all people selling tapestries. Not everything should be done from the comfort of our home. There's just so little reason to get out and do anything anymore. I think you just have to choose where you live carefully. Because I think there are places you can live. Like, I don't know if you've been to Europe recently, but like, small towns in England are so nice. And small towns in like England and in like Switzerland. Because like, it'll be a small town, but you can still get anywhere. In fact, it's smaller, like they're smaller than American towns, but you'll still have a main street with like restaurants below and like people living in apartments above, even in your small little town. And then you get out and you're in the fields and stuff. So like, there are places that have done, you know, it's just you have to live close to things that are worth going to. And there are places that do it. But in the US, it's like only a handful of cities, and often only like certain places in those cities are really give you the motivation to go outside when you wake up in the morning. Like, my mother lives in a bad neighborhood in a place, but I really like it, even though it's like got all this crime and drugs and stuff. I really like it there because like there are also all these things to do outside the moment you get out. Ultralisk, I'm sorry, but I don't know if I want to hear about your ingrown toenails. No, I'm not saying to like leave America and go to Europe, but like, because there are places in the US that are really nice to be, and some of them will only cost you 1 kidney. But like, it's important to live near things that you want to do, reasons to go outside, whether it's music or good food. I think the most important thing for me is having a good cafe nearby, somewhere I can go out and get coffee, because that makes getting out in the morning part of the routine. Somewhere where you go by nearby frequently that just smells great. I really like sucking the salt off of these things before I bite them. It's so good. Should have chose a better spawn point. Curse your birth. How dare you be born in a place that is less interesting than somewhere else. Kidding. That's the solution, alright, sure. America's a PvP server. You know, I disagree. I mean, in some ways, yes, but I've traveled to several countries in Europe and Asia, and even compared to Canada, like, or at least Toronto. Toronto's the only part of Canada I've been to. Pretty much, even the most unfriendly U.S. cities, and people are like so much nicer here. I feel like the people here aren't the problem, in my opinion. Like, PvP server, sure, but I think it's because of our institutions. I mean, not to get into, like, politics or anything, but I think it's our institutions are the problem. But, like, without going into, like, American exceptionalism, which I don't know how I feel about, people here are, like, really nice. They don't like foreigners. I mean, I feel like that's kind of a problem in most countries, unfortunately. Oh gosh. I might get... Okay. This... If I say this right, I don't think it's a hot take. But... How do I say this correctly? I think we should have more immigrants. Personally, I want to try more foods, and I want to share good things that I like about this place with new people. That's my opinion. I really like people, and I like meeting all kinds of people. When you know a lot of different kinds of people, all their weirdness sort of balances each other out. And it ends up being very comfortable. Anyway, in certain circles, this would be a very hot take, I think. But I'm confident enough in my position to say it publicly that I think more immigrants are good. But I don't want to talk about politics. Here's the, you know what? Where do you think... You know, I don't have advertisers. I don't actually have a reason I can't talk about politics. But, like, I also want to keep, like, a relatively comfortable environment here. So how do I do that? How do I balance this? Because I don't think this is a hot take, but I think in a lot of ways we are maybe less divided on actual ideology and actual policy that... Okay, you know what? I'm not getting into this. I'll talk about this later. I have to think about this before and think about how much I want to share. Anyway, I'm willing to share that I like immigrants. And I do want to talk about it more. I do actually want to get into politics, but I need to, like, not make this decision live on stream. That's the the most willpower I've put into self-restraint on this channel since I started it. Give me a moment. I need to think for a second. Okay, I have a new hot take. It's okay that we screw up foods when they come here. Like American-style Chinese food. It's not authentic, but it's delicious. So delicious that when someone goes back to China with American-style Chinese food, the restaurant they open is pretty successful. I forget what it's called, but I've heard about this. Or like burritos. Burritos are delicious. I am a Californian, I know, but I so it's not exactly a surprise take, but burritos are so good. American style. Hot dogs. Okay, hot dogs. I don't know about hot dogs. We should go back to... I guess hot dogs are from Germany, aren't they? No, they're from the US. They're from Coney Island. Sliced bread. Is sliced bread from the US? But like, anyway, I think the fortune cookie, these things are good. They're not authentic, but they're still good. And I think it's okay to screw around with food more. Like, that sounds funny. I think, like, sushi with cream cheese, like the Philadelphia roll, is okay. It's fine. Yeah, maybe not a hot take. Except for, like, the people who insist on calling pho pho. I mean, that's correct in Vietnamese, but, like, it seems kind of like a double standard. Or not, maybe not a double standard, but, like, it seems like people are very particular about saying certain things correctly and not others. And I'm not talking politics, I'm talking about food. Like, pho, some people say pho. Crepes, some people say crepes. But then... what's an example of something that, like, everyone butchers and is okay with? I don't know. In any case, I think it's fine to pronounce things in American English accents. I don't think it's necessarily, like, insulting to pronounce things differently. Beep beep. Sorry, fire truck. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe that's fine. Then again, I come from California, where we insist on saying Spanish as words as poorly as possible. I feel like that's a California thing. I don't know. I think we should just, like, worry about more important stuff. Whenever you cook spaghetti, you break the noodles in half to piss off your Italian friends. Okay, that might be something different. That sounds like it's genuinely malicious, the way you're doing that. So I don't know. But, you know, sometimes your pot is small and you need to get them all to fit. But I do think having longer noodles is better quality, because, like, you can twirl for longer. I want to twirl my fork. Really twist it in there. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. I want to have a lot of sauce. You know, like, the way we make spaghetti is not authentic, but it's delicious. The kind of sauce ingredients we use. I don't know. I feel like that's more of a question of picking your battles. I feel like it's not really worth fighting over those things. That's my take, I guess. Like, if someone wants to pronounce something authentically or not, I think it's okay. I have no enemies, is what I'm saying. Okay, here's a good take. And there's a garbage truck outside, and it reminded me. But I think we should not have garbage pickup from our houses. Instead, we should have, like, a big shared garbage, like, within a block of everyone's house. So everyone can take their garbage over to that and dump it whenever they want. And then it gets picked up whenever it's full. And it's the garbage people only have to make one stop per block instead of stopping at everybody's houses. Gosh, I can't English. So that is, like, another city design take. Like, it may suck for everyone a little bit to have to bring their garbage further, but they can bring it whenever they want to. They don't have to be home for a specific day. They don't have to get a pickup if they miss it. You just have a dumpster on our site. Yeah, for apartments, that sort of happens anyway. But we should have that for everybody. It would save a lot of money for garbage pickup, and it would be convenient for everyone, I think. It would make it all easier. On the other hand, maybe, what if I advocated for the opposite? Like, what if the garbage person, the garbage collector, comes into your house and then collects garbage from all the different cans around your house and then combines them and then takes it all out? Like, what if we, like, tripled the money going into garbage collection? Because we probably can afford that. And so they come into the house and do, like, and then they, like, clean up your house for you too. Maybe not. I don't know. I keep going into, like, social things and how cities work and stuff. Get this. Yes, I'm running for the US Senate. The garbage man can do it, just like The Simpsons. That is my slogan. Let the garbage man. The garbage man can. You want someone to clean up your toes? The garbage man can. Thank you for sharing, Ultralisk. Okay. No, not okay. Something that's not about society. Something that's individual. Okay. You know what? I've got a good take here. Okay. And pardon my French. Fuck gamer subs. I've mentioned this before. VTubers should not be shilling health products, and that's what vitamins are. You should have a health professional tell you what vitamins you need, not someone on the internet. And especially since most of these supplement companies are big pharma. I don't think they should be. It's just sippy cups for adults, yeah. Like, okay, I don't mind the sippy cups. Okay, you can have your own sippy cup. That's fine. But, like, cam girls should not be selling pills. I don't mean actual cam girls, but like the experience, like the girlfriend experience or boyfriend experience, VTubers. I would never do that. I don't want to sell anything that goes inside your body. That sounds a bit funny. That's nothing that you digest. Nothing that can like harm your body if done incorrectly. Because like a lot of vitamins, if you take too many, they do become harmful. A lot of them, like vitamin C, you can like chug vitamin C, you'll just piss it out. But like some vitamins will get dissolved into your fat and can give you health problems. So we should not be like attaching that to people who have bad relationships with or parasocial relationships with content creators. So that's GamerSupps, that's BetterHelp. What else? You know, that whole umbrella. That's my opinion. Take your sippy cup. Don't, you know, get your pills when your doctor says you need them. Or if you like, I don't know, maybe I take a daily multivitamin sometimes. I don't know if that counts. But I've been looking at merch stores and I found a merch store that does VTuber merch, and I saw a review that said they make really good acrylics, really good acrylic printing for like keychains and stuff. And you know, I'm just curious. I like learning about this stuff, and so I looked at them, and they sell pills too. So you can have your shopping cart, and you've got your body pillow, your boob mouse pad or butt mouse pad, and like a poster, and your keychain, and your squishy hand squisher VTuber face thing, stress ball, and you can get your pills on there too. So yeah, not a fan. Hey, welcome, John Madna. How you doing? We're just talking about how much we hate BetterHelp and GamerSupps. Fuck those guys. And BetterHelp, yeah, didn't they like leak a ton of people's mental health data, including people under 18, to Facebook? And I don't know, it's just I don't know, I can't fully... Okay, you know what? Here's another one. Here's another one that is very big right now that I am very skeptical about. I don't really know. I'm not fully educated on this one, so please take this with a grain of salt. But I am skeptical about ground news. And they're everywhere. But like, they're charging a subscription to show me that news articles that other people wrote. So I pay Ground News, and they connect me with articles from other people and claim to sell objectivity. That doesn't sound right to me. Can an AI define objectivity? Is that how it works? Are we outsourcing critical reading and thinking skills to Ground News AI to figure out bias for us? Exactly, subscription-based non-biased news source, except they don't even write any of the articles. They just charge you for their list of articles. And then they pay influencers to sell the idea of objectivity. So, listen, I want to be clear. I don't actually know if this is the full story. I may be missing part of this. So I don't want to misinform and indicate something that I don't know. But if that is what is happening, then I don't like them. But you know where you can find out more about this from a centrist source. But like, man, critical thinking cannot be spoon-fed. It defeats the whole point. And non-bias doesn't come from reading one side and the other side. That doesn't necessarily mean you're not biased or you're getting a full story. It comes from understanding who the writer is and distilling the facts from an article, which you don't need an AI to do for you. You just have to always know what you know and why you know it. If you don't know why you know something, you don't really know it at all. That's my opinion. And that's my... Okay, so that's my hot take about gamer subs, BetterHelp, and ground news. So anyway, John, we're doing hot takes, basically. We're doing Subway takes, things that... Most of these have been pretty popular opinions. I think that my ground news one... I don't think it's unpopular, but I think a lot of people probably don't know much about it either. But on the face of it, it seems to me like they're selling access to things that other people wrote and claiming to sell objectivity, which is kind of dumb. The idea that a writer can be graded on a 1 to 10 scale of bias is stupid. I mean, obviously some of them are very biased, but you know, there are still things to gain by reading, and you have to be able to do that yourself and search it out yourself. That's my opinion. Any other sketchy sponsorships? You know who I'll take a sponsorship from? Wolf Game. Wolf Game. I'll take a video game sponsorship. Oh, you know, I had an idea earlier. I don't know if this is even a take at all, but it occurred to me the other day that it's really important for content creators to love what they do, because if they don't, it can become very addictive in a toxic way. And what I mean is, like, in psychology, there's this thing like variable reward. Like, say you know to push a button, you get a treat. You push a button, you get a treat. Every time you push it, you get used to that. And then when you stop getting treats, you stop pushing the button. So you have to... But when there's a random chance of getting a treat, then you push the button all the time. It's the same way casinos work. There's a random chance of reward, and that feeds addiction. And it occurred to me yesterday that content creation has a lot of these variable reward scales. Like, when you upload a video, you don't know what the reaction's going to be. You don't know if you'll go there's like a slight chance you'll go viral, a big chance you might get a viewer or two, a medium chance you might get a few viewers. And it's like, wait a second, isn't that gambling? Can't that get someone addicted the very same way gambling can? So, if you don't enjoy the craft of what you're making, I think it's worth looking into whether it might be a gambling addiction, making content for YouTube or other platforms. Because if it's about the views, about the attention, those are all variable scales that seem like they could very easily lead to addiction. Lead to gambling addiction. Anyway, it's just a funny idea I had yesterday. So, it has to be, in my opinion, about the art. Or about, I don't know, even saying it's about meeting people and making friends. Like, that's a variable scale too, so that can be addictive. Like, what if people show up a lot for one stream and not for a different one? And it's unpredictable. Then that could be addictive. It's like the same addictions as social media. Like, you scroll and you get dopamine with the anticipation that the next thing you land on might be good. And that's what the scroll is. It's a gambling addiction. So many things in life are just gambling addictions. Social media, whether you're making content or consuming it, ASMR included. Like, say you're looking for the right ASMR. You click on one, you click away from it in 30 seconds, click on another, click away in 30 seconds, click on another. And every time, the anticipation of the next one being the right one causes a little dopamine to be released, even if it's not the right one. And it feeds the addiction. Okay, I feel like this might not be relaxing at all, but this is not an ASMR stream, so I don't care. Okay, I care a little bit. I'm not gonna get a sponsorship ever. Here's a hot take. Gambling is bad. Don't gamble. Sports gambling, gotcha gambling. Don't gamble. Gambling. At least like the slot machines. I feel like games like poker, maybe there's some gray area for that kind of thing, but I don't know. Things that have some element of skill, maybe. That line of thinking can go even further. People focus too much on physical addictions and not psychological ones. Yeah. Like, there are a lot of psychological addictions out there. And some of them are good. Like, the reason you... Oh wait, that's chemical, never mind. You know, you want to be addicted to having fun with your friends. I think that's actually an addiction too, because there's a random interval of how long you're going to go in between meeting with your friends, how good of a time you're going to have with your friends. I think that's an addiction. They're coming to arrest me for spitting facts. They're going to silence me. I think food can be addictive, and not always in a bad way. Like, you want to keep eating food, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, so you keep trying stuff. That's good. That's a good addiction. So there are a handful of good addictions. So many things are addictions, though, and I think it's a useful framework to think of different activities. If we're addicted to oxygen and its withdrawal kills us, it's just suffocation is what Big Air wants us to believe. I don't know about that one, sir. Don't know about that one. I don't know. We're addicted to... I think sleep can be addiction. Because, like, it's kind of random how well you're gonna sleep, or it feels random. So you try to sleep earlier. And more than you need to. Potentially. To make sure that you've got enough. I've never thought about a lot of these. Wow, there are a lot of addictions. But where do you draw the line between a good and bad one? I guess a good one just, I mean, I guess that's kind of easy. Like, a good one promotes long-term health and well-being and happiness. Job hunting and house hunting is addictive. You know, actually it isn't. Like, it's kind of painful because you never get a reward. But that is a variable rate reward system, so variable interval reward. So, I don't know. It's not universal, I guess. Maybe avoiding your problems is addictive because, like, there's a random chance it'll be successful and you'll have a great time. Anyway, I'm ready for more lighthearted things. I definitely, if I had soda in the house all the time, I would for sure be addicted to soda. Like, soda is so good, it's so addictive. Sugar is so addictive. But the only way I deal with that is just not having it in the house. And, like, alcohol. I don't think I'm particularly predisposed to alcoholism, but I don't think I have zero propensity for it either. So I have very strict rules about drinking. And the number one thing, I never drink by myself. Ever. Because, like, I don't think I'd be an alcoholic, but I don't want to take the chance. I don't want to find out the hard way. And, like, I'm never going to try nicotine. Never. So anyway. Not for me. Not for anyone, in my opinion. But I do like drinking on stream occasionally. If anyone was there yesterday, you know that I had a Sapporo, and it was like a huge can. It wasn't very strong, but for some reason it hit me harder than usual. Maybe because of how much I'm sweating. I don't know how hot it is. Anyway. I don't want to think about addiction anymore. But I do think in all things, you have to find joy in the craft of what you're doing, not in a disconnected result of it. Which makes certain things it's kind of impossible for certain things like work. But you know, I really enjoy live streaming, especially the chatting streams. These are like my favorite thing to do. But sometimes I look at the numbers too much, and sometimes I do get personally a little bit anxious. Which is stupid, but I do want to, like, reach a point someday where I can do this more frequently. Because I do love it, but it's kind of like a weird spiral where it, like, loops back in on itself and reinforces itself in a negative way. And, you know, yeah, it seems like a lot of content creators have mental health issues, and sometimes I wonder if that's related to the gambling-like nature of content creation. But I don't know. Anyway, Anyway, yeah, pineapples on pizza. I like pineapples on pizza. I could eat pizza every day if I... maybe, I could be like my roommate. I could just eat pizza every day of the year. I feel like that would lead to a happy life. Until short term. I love pizza so much. And video game budgets and development cycles are getting out of hand. The endless chase for realism is always trumped by creative art styles and unique mechanics. I agree. I mean, I do like realism, but it feels like, that like body cam game shooter that's like photorealistic. I feel like the photorealism in that is kind of a gimmick. But yeah, I agree. I want more creative stories and game mechanics and longer games. Better story modes. And yeah, I mean, on one hand, video game budgets are excessively out of hands, but on the other, I'm stoked for GTA 6. And that's like, what is the insane budget on that? Let me see. I forget. It's like billions. GTA 6, the lower end of the estimated budget is $1 billion. But it's expected... Or is it like 2 billion? No, it looks like it's 1 billion. And I am very excited to play a $1 billion game. But I don't really want to play more than I don't want to pay more than $60 for any video game. I don't really think any video game is worth $70 or $80. Even with inflation. Like, what kid allowance is ever going to pay for that? I mean, GTA probably shouldn't be played by little kids, but... GTA was like 256 million. Yeah. And that's like... And that money's going to be more efficiently used nowadays too, with like technological improvements and stuff. But anyway, I'm pretty excited to... Because I don't know. I saw the trailer and the graphics look great. The graphics and the and they're gonna have a pretty good story probably, and the open world is probably just gonna be more detailed than anything we've seen in any game ever. I'm hoping. Hopefully, I'll wait a little bit before buying it after it comes out. I've learned to not pre-order, but I'm excited for it a little bit. I bet it's a buggy mess on launch, though. Call of Duty's turning into Fortnite. I've never played Call of Duty. Well, I've played once, and I played the story mode. I played like the single player campaign, and I've never played Fortnite. I want to play Fortnite because I have a friend who's into it, who I want to be closer with. But like, I'm not informed to have a take on this. Minecraft is the only video game in my heart. I'm sorry. I think I want to call it a night. I think I'm hitting a wall. I'm sorry a lot of this turned into be like kind of negative takes. I mean, we had some positive ones too. And, meaningful is what's most important. Like, things being meaningful. That's more important than positive or negative. A lot of movies with negative endings are nice because you take away something nice from them. Anyway. I'm going to wrap up the stream. thank y'all for being here. Please, if you're not in the Discord, join it. And subscribe and whatnot. Kind of inevitable with hot takes. I don't think many of these takes were very hot. I mean, some of them were nuanced. I don't know. Anyway, I've had an issue with YouTube, like, cutting my stream too early when I end broadcasts, so I'm going to be doing, like, this 1-minute stream ending screen for a little bit now. For a while, just to see if that fixes the issue. Anyway, I hope you have a good sleep too. Have a good night, and thank you for being here.